My name is Alex Vish, and I was in charge of programming and general testing for our design.
My name is Michael Kamara. My general projects were involved hardware and hardware testing.
Mike Hinkle, programming and testing also.
Hello everyone, my name is Mustafa Shahid and I was primarily responsible for the design and implementation of the system and as well as hardware testing as well. So before I start my project, I want to tell you some facts from the news that there are over 37,000 fire cases only in industries and manufacturing areas. And that costs about over $1 billion in direct property damages, about 279 injuries and over 10 deaths a year only. So we decided to find an efficient and better way that is always active and look for constant fire. So we went over and designed and made a fire extinguishing, completely autonomous fire extinguishing drone. So this drone is capable of going into a pre-planned or newly planned path and goes to the path and looks for fire and drops a fire extinguishing grenade that it carries at the bottom carriage, and that extinguish the fire. We're using UV integrated with IR sensors because manufacturing areas and industries have a lot of other like welding or other machines that can create a lot of false alarm as well. So in order to deal with that, we're using a dual detection system, which is UV and IR sensors. Our basic system is dependent on the flight controller, which is called Pixhawk. We modified Pixhawk and modified it with the PID controller for better results as well. Flight controller is Pixhawk that gives data to Arduino, and Arduino further gives data to Arduino Mira and the autonomous program. That autonomous program can be planned at the station, or it can be pre-planned, or you can change it on the go as well. The GPS we are using, we kept both the outer GPS, and for indoors we got some feedback from last semester that we should be implementing something else other than just the GPS. So we went ahead and decided on getting Marvel Mine, which is an ultrasonic based indoor GPS system, and it places 4 different beacons on the corners of the area, and the range on them is about 400 meters. And you can keep on adding more beacons to get additional 400 and 400 meters into your area. And one beacon stays on the top of the drone that gives continuous location updates to the drone and the flight controller. And then we have 2 types of different collision detection systems. The first is based on completely on the flight controller, which is pre-planned. For example, if you have walls, pillars, you can already add that into the flight controller. The second collision detection system is the active collision detection system that is actively based on the ultrasonic sensors. Those are on the sides, all 4 sides of the drone, and it reacts according to how close or far the obstacle is. After the drone does its path, it comes back to the base for further charging. And at this point, I'm open to any questions if you guys may have.
One of the things I think you had on your abstract were the drones where you had multiple drones, they were flying all the time.
Yes, so one of the ideas we had was if we are able to make this one working, in the future with more budget and time, we would like to have a mesh network of drones. So one is up there looking for fire on the path while other is getting charged. While this is getting a charge, coming back to the base, the other is going to go and look for fire. So it's a continuous looking for fire and extinguishing right as it starts before it gets too much.
The question I had was, why would you use a range of just standard sensors, and when something didn't look right, then you can send a drone in if it did spot a fire, you can send a drone in, you wouldn't have to have them flying the whole time.
Well, the thing is that in most of these cases, the fire starts and gets really large very quickly.
Right.
So instead of wasting that time, because we're targeting for large industries or manufacturing areas, instead of wasting that time, we just want to have the drone, because it's really cheap on maintenance and it is very cheap to build these. So we want to have it always on the go. So we don't, as soon as we see the fire, we want to extinguish it. Because the grenade we are using, that is capable of extinguishing a fire, maybe an 18-wheeler fire.
How big is this thing? How
You're
big is it?
referring more to like a grid system pre-existing in there, and we send it, oh, it's at A2 coordinate and send something in there. We thought about that, but at the same time, I mean, if we want to pick up and go to another industry or, you know, retrofit it to be able to take it to another textile mill, then we'd have to have them pre-install sensors in a
Right.
grid.
Yeah.
So it just, I mean, I don't know, this sounded like a more interesting approach.
How big is the drone?
We're gonna, yeah, it is pretty,
have it on
it is
display
pretty
on our
big. We
table.
also have a video.
It's going to be at the poster session.
Yes,
Yes.
we're gonna have
Yes.
the videos and the drone at the poster session as well.
Do you have to target dropping your grenade? Is it sizable?
Um,
How do you know where to drop it?
So we have a sensor directly below, at the bottom of the drone as well. As soon as it is above the fire, it knows to open the jaw and drop it right there.
How do you deal with the heat? And you're flying over a heat source that's gonna.
Well, one of the things is that since we are not targeting a very huge fire, we're saying that as soon as we see the fire, we want to go and finish it right there before it starts too much.
Yeah, we're looking for early detection.
Yes.
I mean, at that point, if the fire's too big, hopefully the building's pre-existing, I don't know how they work. But
Yes.
yeah, the sensors actually will go off anyway. It's not halon
Is there
anymore,
a
whatever it is.
positive detection and then it flags something down the chain, or it just
Well-
goes in one wolf? And
So our one of the additional features we wanted to do in the drone is after it detects a fire, it would just send back data to the other drone that would be at the charging station, or it would send data to the authorities alerting that okay, there is something going on there. Yes.
All right, thank you very much.